Now let me tell you, up yonder in Harlan County, Kentucky, where the Appalachian Mountains rise up like the backbone of the earth, there's a road folks don't travel lightly after dark. Highway 38. This old stretch of blacktop weaves and winds its way through coal country, a place rich with history, heartbreak, and stories whispered on the wind. Generations of miners, kinfolk, and drifters have taken to this road, cutting through them hills that seem to carry the weight of the past on their shoulders. Welcome to Kentucky Melody's Scary Stories from Kentucky, where we spin yarns about ghostly haints, creepy hollers, and spine-chilling legends from deep in the hills. So grab a chair, dim them lights, and let's dig into something spooky. Let me tell you, Highway 38 ain't just a road. Nah, sir, it's got itself a reputation. Beneath all that rugged beauty, those mountain ridges kissed by mist and hollers where shadows linger long after the sun's gone down, there's a darker side. You see, this here road's been traveled by more than just the living. It's said to carry the restless spirits of them who never quite found their peace, ghosts of a bygone era still wandering, looking for something they lost, or maybe waiting for someone who never came back. Round here, folks don't laugh off the tales of Highway 38. They know better. Too many folks with stories of seeing strange lights, hearing whispers in the wind, or feeling that cold chill crawl up their spine, even on a warm summer night. If these hills could talk, they'd tell you of the tragedies buried deep, of the coal miners who never made it home, and the families left to mourn them. They'd speak of a history so heavy it clings to the air like coal dust, leaving a mark that no rain can wash away. Ain't no wonder folks reckon this highway's haunted. It's a road that's seen more sorrow and struggle than most can bear, and maybe, just maybe, the spirits ain't ready to let go. So, if you ever find yourself driving down Highway 38 with the moon hanging low and the mountains looming all round, keep your eyes peeled and your wits about you. You just might catch a glimpse of something that'll chill you to the bone and remind you that the past ain't as far away as we like to think. Now, let me spin you a yarn about Highway 38, known official-like as Kentucky Route 38, a stretch of road near 30 miles long that snakes its way through the heart of Harlan County, clear on up to the Virginia state line near Keokee. This ain't just any old road. No, sir. It's a lifeline for them little mountain communities it winds through, places with names like Brookside, Everts, Black Bottom, and Holmes Mill. Folks around here know every bend and curve like the back of their hand, 'cause this road's been carrying them to church, to work, and to family for generations. Back in the heyday of the coal boom, early 20th century like, this part of Kentucky was buzzing like a beehive. Them mining towns popped up like mushrooms after summer rain, and workers poured in from all over, bringing their families along, hoping for a better life. Highway 38 became the thread that stitched it all together, connecting towns, mines, and folks. Then came the railway in 1911, and boy, did things change. Harlan County turned into a powerhouse for coal distribution, sending black gold far and wide. Prosperity came knocking, but it wasn't no friendly visit. The coal mines brought money, sure, but they also brought hardship, the kind that'll twist a man's spirit. Miners toiled deep underground in dangerous conditions, breathing in coal dust and leaving their families praying they'd come home safe. It weren't just the mines neither. Them labor disputes, they was something fierce, violent, and bloody, leaving scars that still linger in these hills. Lives were lost, hearts were broken, and the echoes of them struggles seem to hang heavy over Highway 38. Folks say the road's got memories, that the very ground remembers all the sorrow, loss, and hardship that passed over it. Among the most haunting ghost tales tied to Highway 38 is the legend of the Lady in White, a story that's been whispered round campfires and down hollers for nigh on 80 years. Folks from all walks of life, coal miners heading home after a long shift, travelers passing through the rugged hills, and even truckers hauling heavy loads late at night, have all claimed to see her. Draped in a flowing white dress that seems to glow in the moonlight, she's said to be the restless spirit of Marguerite Craig, a woman whose life ended in unspeakable tragedy. Now, Marguerite's story is one that'll chill a feller straight to the bone. Back in June of 1946, not long after the world had stopped burning with the fires of war, Marguerite was trying to rebuild her life. She'd just tied the knot for the second time, looking ahead to what she hoped would be a brighter future. But fate had other plans, and the shadows of that summer would never leave the hills of Harlan County. Just a few weeks into her new marriage, Marguerite met a cruel end, brutally murdered in her own home with an axe. The only soul to bear witness to this horrific act was her 4-year-old boy, a child far too young to understand the weight of what he'd seen, but old enough for it to scar him forever. The shock of her death didn't just ripple through her family, it tore through the community like a thunderclap on a still night. Folks round here reckon the hills themselves seemed to mourn her. Though the law eventually caught up with the one responsible, it didn't bring peace to Marguerite's restless soul, or to those who live near Highway 38. They say her spirit lingers, bound to these winding roads and shadowy hollers, searching for something she'll never quite find. Some believe she's hunting for her little boy, her heart still aching to protect him even in death. Others think she's longing to return to the home where her life was stolen away. Travelers tell of seeing her figure standing by the roadside, her ghostly white dress fluttering in the night breeze. When they stop to offer help, she vanishes, leaving naught but a chill hanging in the air and the uneasy feeling that something unnatural just passed by. And if you're driving that stretch of road after dark, keep your eyes on the fog. Some say her face appears in the mist, watching and waiting, searching for the peace that's always just out of reach. The first tellings of the Lady in White go back to the late 1940s, not long after Marguerite's untimely death. Back then, the folks who knew the roads best, taxi drivers and bus operators winding their way through the narrow curves of Highway 38, started sharing bone-chilling tales. They spoke of a pale woman in a white dress, standing out there in the darkness, flagging them down like she was desperate for help. But the second they'd pull over or slow their rigs, she'd vanish right before their eyes, leaving nothing behind but a heavy, unnatural quiet. It was during this time that the Verda Transportation Company was setting up routes that crisscrossed that haunted stretch of road. Drivers running them routes began passing along their own strange accounts, swearing that something wasn't right out there on those lonesome nights. Word spread fast, and it didn't take long for the Lady in White to become more than just a spooky story. She became a warning. As the years rolled on, so did the legend. By the 1950s, more and more travelers claimed to have crossed paths with the spectral figure, and the details of her appearances grew even more unnerving. They say she'd show up most often on dark, rainy nights right around the Coxton area. It was like the gloom called her forth, her pale form shining faintly through the fog and drizzle. Male drivers, especially, reported eerie encounters, Some swore they'd seen her by the roadside, looking forlorn as she raised a delicate hand to signal them to stop. But when they drove on past or dared to glance in their mirrors, there she'd be, settin' in the back seat, quiet as a shadow and colder than a winter morning. These meetings left the men shaken, speaking of an overbearing sorrow that seemed to seep into their bones and a chill that no fire or whiskey could chase away. Now, even with all the years gone by, the lady in white ain't faded into the past. Sightings still crop up today, and the tales are just as eerie as ever. Paranormal investigators have taken an interest in the stretch near the Coxton Bridge, bringing fancy gadgets to see if they can catch proof of what's lingering out there. Some of them claim they've recorded EVPs, soft, mournful whispers caught on tape, or captured blurry thermal images of a figure that shouldn't be there. Witnesses who've seen her in more recent times stick to the same story. She's a fleeting vision, her dress catching the moonlight like it's spun from some otherworldly thread. But the moment you blink or look closer, she's gone, leaving only shadows behind. Some say they've heard her whispering a name, faint and sorrowful, like a mother calling out for her lost child. Whatever the truth may be, one thing's for certain. Highway 38 holds on to its ghosts, and the lady in white ain't done walking yet. While the lady in white might be the most well-known spirit haunting Highway 38, that stretch of road's got more than its share of spooky happenings to keep folks looking over their shoulders. Here's just a taste of the other ghostly goings-on that make this road one you don't want to linger on after dark. The Phantom Footsteps. Plenty of hikers and drivers have shared tales about hearing footsteps where no one ought to be. Imagine walking a quiet stretch of road, the only sound's your boots on the gravel and the distant rustle of leaves. Then, out of nowhere, you hear the distinct crunch of steps behind you, measured, deliberate, like someone's keeping pace. You turn round, and there's nothing there but empty road and shadows. Those who felt it say it's more than just the sound. It's the unshakable feeling of eyes on you, watching from the dark. Disembodied voices. If the footsteps ain't enough to send the chills up your spine, try hearing voices where no human's standing. Late at night, when the road's bathed in moonlight and the woods are alive with whispers of the wind. Some travelers swear they've heard faint voices calling out. The sounds are faint but clear, like a soft murmur drifting out from the trees. Sometimes it's just a word or two, and other times it's like someone's calling their name. Folks who've heard it say the voices carry a strange, mournful tone, like whoever's speaking ain't quite part of this world. Ghostly lights. Now, this one's got even the skeptics scratching their heads. Mysterious orbs of light have been spotted floating above the road, usually in the dead of night. These lights ain't just your run-of-the-mill reflections or headlights. They've got a mind of their own. Witnesses say they move slow and steady at first, hovering like they're watching something. Then, in the blink of an eye, they'll dart off into the trees, disappearing like they were never there at all. Some call them ghost lights. Others reckon there's something even stranger. Whatever they are, they leave a chill in their wake that folks ain't quick to forget. Highway 38 ain't just a road. It's a corridor where the veil feels mighty thin. Whether it's the footsteps, the voices, or those strange lights, one thing's for sure. There's more to this stretch of road than meets the eye. If you're passing through, keep your ears open, your lights bright, and your wits about you. You never know what might be watching from the shadows. But take heed, traveler. If you're making your way down Highway 38 on a rainy night and catch sight of a pale figure standing by the roadside, slow down, but don't stop. You might just find yourself facing the lady in white herself, forever searching for something she'll never find. Highway 38 ain't just a road, it's a path into Kentucky's haunted soul. So, what do y'all reckon about Highway 38 and its ghostly tales? Have you ever driven that stretch of road? Maybe felt a chill you couldn't explain or seen something out of the corner of your eye that made your skin crawl? Do you believe in ghosts, or do you think these are just old stories folks tell to pass the time? And what about the lady in white? If you were to see her on a rainy night, would you stop to help or hit the gas and keep on going? We'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and maybe even your own spooky experiences, so don't be shy. Drop a comment below and join the conversation. Now, if tales like this get your heart pounding and your imagination wandering, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow Kentucky Melody for more stories that'll send a shiver straight down to your boots. There's plenty more haunting history and creepy legends where this came from, and we'd be mighty glad to have you along for the ride. Just remember, when you come back, don't come alone. The shadows are deep here in Kentucky, and who knows what might be waiting for you. Same time, same channel, and maybe the same ghost peeking over your shoulder.